hope it's a very positive book. I think Two for Joy, the title works on lots of different levels, and one of them is just for joy. I wanted to write something which was positive, which did celebrate London, which celebrated pregnancy and childbirth and love and relationships and friendship, and was very positive, showed the difficulties and all of those things, I think, and the problems that people experience. But overall, I wanted it to be a celebration of life and London life.
The Oxo Tower on the South Bank features in the first part of the novel. It's where Toby makes his ill-fated proposal to girlfriend Ruby. We see Toby in the novel. He gets out of the tube at St Paul's station, walks across the bridge, admiring London as he goes. Things don't go quite according to plan with the proposal, but the Oxo Tower's still a top romantic location, I think. St Pancras is another key location in Two for Joy. I'm obsessed with the romance of train travel. I love it, and I love international European train travel. And St Pancras, obviously it's got the Eurostar, but it seems to me to come closest of all the big London stations of summing up that sense of romance and possibility that you get in a train station. I wanted somewhere which would be romantic, which would be dramatic, which would be memorable, and again, the big main concourse in St Pancras underneath the statue, that seemed to be the perfect place.
Julia and Toby have the most lovely romantic interlude in Brighton, which is another favourite place of mine. It's somewhere I've been going down for days or weekends since I moved to London to get to the sea and enjoy that bohemian vibe. So when I knew that I wanted, quite early on in the book, there's this perfect idyll of a weekend that Julia and Toby spend together, which is sort of the calm before the storm. And I knew that had to be Brighton, because that perfection, that everything just being right with the world is Brighton to me. And they do that. They have this lovely day and they paddle on the beach and they go around the Brighton Pavilion and they have lunch out in a little cafe in the lanes. They wander around and Toby buys Julia an antique necklace, and then they end up in a luxury boutique hotel drinking cocktails and having this fabulous romantic time. So that was Brighton. I wrote Two for Joy when my daughter was 2 years old, so the whole pregnancy and baby thing was very, very fresh in my mind. And I wasn't especially young when I had my daughter, but I was the first out of my friendship groups from university and school and work to have a baby. And so I didn't really know, no one was really that interested in it. And this was this enormous life-changing experience for me, and there wasn't really anyone to share it with. I didn't know anyone who'd been through it except people who were a generation older. And I would have absolutely loved to read a book which was a fun, light, engaging, romantic novel, but featured some of the things I was going through. And so I think, although I never consciously made a decision to write a book about pregnancy, when the story came along, I thought, yeah, actually I want some of the experiences that I've had and the things that I would have liked to read about to come across in it. I think the way that I live in London has changed over the time. When I moved here, I was 24. I was with my partner and we were renting a little flat together, but we didn't have children. And I was a busy professional girl, working long hours, meeting friends for drinks in town after work, sleeping in at the weekends, brunches, pubs, theatre. We'd go down to Leicester Square half-price booths and see what tickets we could get for a show that night. My life's changed since then. I'm now a full-time mum and writer, so I'm very much based around home, and my life's very much based around Walthamstow. But I've discovered a whole other lovely side of London, the fabulous parks and the fabulous museums, and the fact that there is a real sense of community here, which you notice more when you've got children. I think before I had Anna, I wouldn't have known my neighbours particularly, whereas suddenly when you've got having a child's a talking point, you stop and chat, your pace of life slows down a bit. So yeah, I think the way I live in London has definitely changed over the time I've lived here. I would describe London as excitement, vibrancy, dynamism, history. The very bricks are just oozing with it. but it's contemporary as well. It's not, as much as I love a city like, say, Venice, which has obviously got an incredible history, that does feel more rooted in the past, whereas London's constantly evolving and changing, and it reinvents itself every time. It's like one of those pictures where there's always the layers, and you peel one back and you think you got to the bottom of it, but you haven't, because there'll be another layer behind that. You just get such a buzz from walking down the street, seeing all these different people, all these different lives, and obviously you get that in any city. You get that in Liverpool, but London has got a unique energy for me. I can't imagine living or working anywhere else.